Hi, I'm Dana Shoaf, editor of Civil War Times Magazine, and I'm here with Melissa Winn, director of photography. And again, this is obviously not a First Monday broadcast, but we are at the Lincoln Forum in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The Lincoln Forum is a great organization that's been around for at least 24 years, and every November they hold a symposium. This is their 24th annual symposium. It's a great group, and it started based on interest in Lincoln and Lincoln scholarship. But if you come to the symposium, it's a broader study of the Civil War. They attract top scholars like Peter Carmichael and some of the other folks that we're going to be talking to later today. Gary Gallagher's here, Harold Holzer, the Lincoln scholar, is in charge of the forum. He's the director of it at this particular time. They also attract some really interesting exhibitors. And we are in the exhibit room right now, and I want to talk to a couple of the artists that are here. And especially if you pan a little bit to your, I guess, left here, Melissa, you can see these amazing Lincoln sculptures, and these are done by an artist named Frank Porcu. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, you did.
And we're going to meet Frank now, who's actually working on one of these sculptures. Most of these, by the way, are sold because people came in and were so captivated by them. Frank, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Now,
to meet you.
can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Where are you from?
Long Island.
Long Island. And you have been an artist your whole life, basically?
My whole life, ever since when I was very young.
So you started, I think you said in high school.
In high school, yeah.
And you do sculptures of Lincoln only or other mediums?
Of other mediums as well.
Okay, so you're a sculptor, painter as well.
Yeah.
Now, you have an interesting story about how you got interested in Abraham Lincoln.
Yes. Actually, where do you want me to start?
Well, you weren't that interested in the Civil War for a while, you said, right? And then you got inspired.
Yes, my client, actually, I work on a commission basis. So
Okay.
my client came to me and said, I want you to make a Lincoln. And I said, no.
Okay.
And he
You
said,
said you weren't interested.
no,
Yeah.
it's not that I was interested, it's just that I was intimidated.
Oh, I
because
see.
of the,
Mhm.
the sort of the history of Lincoln portraiture.
Yes.
There's so many great statues out there, and he holds such a place in the zeitgeist and in the mind of our society, that why would someone like myself, who's a sculptor trained in the neoclassical tradition, why would I even approach something that's such a that I'm going to fail,
Right.
Because of the history.
Yeah.
So my client said to me, I want you to make it, and I turned it down, and then he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and said to me, hey Frank, I need you to make the Lincoln that's my Lincoln. I don't see the Lincoln I know in the existing portraiture.
Oh, and so these are incredibly detailed.
Thank you.
And the terracotta and a sort of a pewter finish, is that the correct way to put it?
Yeah, it's a cold cast bronze.
Cold cast bronze. And you're actually working on one of your sculptures right now. This is raw clay.
Yes,
and you're adding a beard to this? Is that what you're doing?
I'm adding a beard to this morning. Harold Holzer came in and I said, because this is the one that someone could take home, but it can be their work. So basically, I listen to them and they guide me based on the Lincoln they want. Everyone has a Lincoln in their own mind.
Right.
So Mr. Holzer came in this morning and said, well, I said, what kind of Lincoln do you want?
Yeah.
And he said, I want the short beard Lincoln. So that's what you're getting.
Yeah,
the short beard Lincoln.
Short beard Lincoln, and you've got some of the beardless Lincolns, which are fantastic as well. And the character in his face is really, really revealed here. This is a larger. This is almost. Well, it's not life size, is it? Or
That's life size.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
It should be 6'4", but I could not fit the taller pedestal in my car.
Okay. So if someone was interested in your work, you have maybe I can hold up this card.
Sure.
Right, Melissa, and you can get some information about where you can reach Frank, the website and everything, if you're interested in one of these amazing artworks. Why don't you go ahead and just do a little bit of work on that?
Why not?
While we're here.
Well, what do you want it to look like?
Well, this is Harold Holzer's. I don't want to direct at all. You're that's the last thing. It's like, well, we changed your sculpture, Harold. But anyway, no, that's great. So you're adding a beard.
Yeah, we'll put a beard on him.
How long does it take you to do a sculpture like that?
Well, this one took me 6 months to make.
6 months.
This one took me even longer because that was a collaboration.
Wow.
With Harold.
Yeah.
Harold. It's just great because he's such a generous person with his
Right.
knowledge. Where if I say, well, Harold, what do you think about the the hem, or what do you think about the jacket? And it's just to get that kind of idea and that kind of to bring the piece to life.
They're amazingly lifelike. Amazingly lifelike. Really incredible.
Thank you.
And as I said, most of these are sold already.
Most of them are sold, to
Yeah.
my surprise, to be honest.
Yeah, people came in and just snapped them up. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you, Frank. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by.
All right. And we're going to go over to the other side of the room now and meet Wendy Allen. Wendy, how are you?
Hi.
Wendy, you live in Gettysburg.
I do.
And you've been involved in the Lincoln Forum for quite some time.
A long time.
And you sponsor an award, is that correct?
I do the Wendy Allen Award.
The Wendy Allen?
For institutional excellence.
Okay. And you are a painter of Lincoln.
I am.
And all these artworks along the wall you have done in various very different interpretations
Yep.
of the president. How do you come up with these different ideas? How do they come into your mind?
It's the whole passion of Lincoln, and I consider myself a contemporary painter, sort of rebelling against modern art with its lack of history in it.
Okay.
It's always been troubling to me that artists of today really kind of turn their back on history.
They don't, right.
Right, so I started painting Lincoln just as a sort of rebellion about 35 years ago against modern art out in San Francisco, and I never
Okay.
stopped since. So it's like taking one subject, painting it many styles.
Well, what attracted you to Lincoln in the first place?
Loved Lincoln even when I was a kid.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was out in California, I'd never painted.
Mhm.
My first job was
Mhm.
with painters and designers.
Mhm.
Got involved, got very interested, came back here for the first Civil War Institute with Gabor Bori.
Okay.
This topic was Lincoln.
Okay.
So it reignited my love of Lincoln.
Lincoln scholar and general
Right.
Civil War scholar, Gabor
Yep.
Bori, yes.
The best. And went back to San Francisco, painted my first Lincoln, and never looked back.
Oh, wow. And when did you move out here?
In the early mid-'80s.
Okay. And your studio is on Baltimore?
It's on Baltimore Street.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So tell me a little
Sure.
bit about this particular. This
Sure.
looks like it's
These-
on board.
It is.
Okay.
These are brand new paintings. I've never painted on. They're panels, and I actually put the panels, glued the panels together. There was something. There's a feeling. I was talking to Harold about it. About refinding Lincoln in the modern age. He's sort of getting lost, and the whole concept of uncovering or seeing Lincoln underneath all the the graffiti.
The graffiti
Yeah.
and it's sort of the myths that have been applied to him and misinformation. That sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, I love to experiment with mediums. I love to experiment with paint.
What is that
It's
kind of
acrylic.
paint?
It's acrylic on
Acrylic on
panel.
board.
Mhm.
Now, I like all these. This one just really captivates. Is that oil?
It's oil.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
mostly work in oil, and again, I experiment. There's actually a little magic marker in there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a little Sharpie, just to, because I had it
Yeah.
in my hand, and I just went
And
in.
there's a real depth to that one. It really, there's a chunkiness to it with the oil. It really feels like it's coming out at you for some reason. I really like that. I like them all, but
Thank
in
you.
particular, that's the one that kind of caught my eye. Now, how many Lincoln paintings have you executed during your career?
Well over 300.
300.
Yeah.
And people, they're all over the world, right?
They are.
Do people all over the
They
world
are,
have your originals hanging in their in their
They've gone to
houses?
South Korea, to Northern Europe, to Canada, all over the United
Wow.
States. Yeah.
And so you were telling me when we were talking earlier, I think some really good news about sort of attendance here at Gettysburg. You said that all of a sudden this summer you just sort of felt.
I did. We were a little, business owners in town were a little disheartened with the downward trend, but I think we're seeing a real uptick, a
Yeah.
real excitement. And it's a real different kind of excitement.
Mhm.
And I think everybody's feeling it, and we're really happy about that.
Yeah, so you just kind of felt sort of a resurgence of attendance and
A
people.
real interest in the history, real
Mhm.
interest in, and especially
Fantastic.
in the town of Gettysburg.
Yes.
People, we see more tours of the town.
Yes.
And so they're interested in the everyday life of the civilian, that they can see at the Shriver House,
Right.
which is really exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday was a fairly chilly Saturday in November, and I was downtown and pleasantly surprised at the number of people I saw walking the street. I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's really good.
So if people want to look at your artwork, where's your address?
www.lincolnintoart.com.
Lincoln Into Art, all one word.
LincolnIntoArt.com. And that's the
And
name
then-
of my shop.
And your shop, what's the address in Baltimore?
329 Baltimore Street.
329 Baltimore Street. So people can come here,
Down near the Farnsworth House.
down near the Farnsworth House. They can have a nice meal, come over and check out. your
Absolutely,
paintings. Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
I'm around.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for
Thank
talking
you.
with us, Wendy.
Thank
Really
you very much. I
it.
appreciate
Okay.
it. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Well, this is Dana Shoaf and Melissa Winn, and we're going to be signing off here from the exhibitor's room at the Lincoln Forum. We'll be back later on today to talk to some of the scholars that are here and talk about their scholarship and what they're working on. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.